Good morning, good afternoon for some. And today I'd like to introduce myself. My name's Tassine, and I manage the marketing department here in Teltonika, Canada. And I also have my colleagues here on the webinar today who will be helping me in the Q&A session. And I'd like to first introduce our Chief of Sales, Upnit Singh. I'd also like to introduce our two networking and IoT engineers, Shivang Amin and Ramandeep Singh from our Toronto office here.
Hello, everyone.
All right, guys. So today I'd like to introduce Teltonika Network's first webinar here out of our North American office. And today, as you all know, the topic for this webinar is based on our best-selling routers, the RUT240 and the RUT360, simple routers for complex solutions. So moving on to today's agenda for this webinar. First, we'll have a little introduction to our division, Teltonika Networks, along with a little insight on our entire company group, for those of you who aren't yet familiar with us. And then we'll move on to the devices and cover all areas across the RUT240 and the RUT360 and everything they have to offer. Then we'll explore some of the use case solutions where our devices have been implemented, basically what kind of issue was presented to us and how we use the versatility of our devices to come up with the solutions. And we'll then go ahead and explore the capabilities of our remote management system, the RMS, and how you can utilize the software to seamlessly manage your connectivity across the platform with our devices. And then finally, we'll get into the Q&A session to answer any questions that you all may have. And so moving on to the introduction of who we are, to give you all an idea of Teltonika Networks, we'll start at the beginning for everyone here. So for the last 14 years, we've been working hard in providing everyone with cellular IoT routers. And we now hold a position as one of the top 3 manufacturers of cellular routers worldwide. And we, as an IoT solutions provider, continue to strive to serve a wide range of industries while adding them to our global portfolio. And our advancement in production is based on these 3 main principles that you see here on the screen: reliable, secure, and easy to use. So first, achieving the highest level of reliability with anyone that we work with. Second, maximizing the security across our portfolio of IoT devices by constantly performing security tests to assure that our partners and clients receive the highest level of security that we have to offer. And finally, we work hard to improve usability for everyone, to bring you products that are just easy to use. And now we'll move on to where we are. And in short, as you can see from this map, we're everywhere or almost everywhere. And our goal is to be closer to all of our partners around the world. And this is generally to ensure that we hear everybody's feedback, no matter where it is coming from. And so that we can in turn adapt the way we work in different corners of the world, bringing us to the fact that we're now focusing on having these regular webinars to inform our partners and clients on the latest scoop from your local North American Teltonika office here in Toronto. And as a result of our global approach, we have partners in over 145 countries and don't plan on stopping there. As you can see that there are still some areas that are not highlighted in blue. Our goal is to have a presence everywhere in the world, and this would not be possible without our investments in the product quality and certifications across the globe, as we have over 30 international product certifications. So this is one of our key focus areas to increase our market share globally. So that's a little bit about our global footprint. So now let's highlight the milestones in our Toronto office here. And last year, our office actually ended 2021 with just 9 employees. And now, as the commencement of the 3rd quarter, we're sitting at over 50 employees here at the office. And so we've quadrupled in size, making the last several months for our HR department extremely busy. So shout out to them and our entire team for assisting and contributing to the growth of our office. And we also have our own local fulfillment center to decrease the lead times for our North American region. And since the demand has been growing exponentially, we have actually expanded the fulfillment center as well, along with additional networking and IoT support engineers. So how do our results reflect our ambitions as a company? Well, let me show you what we've done in the last year alone. So from these numbers, I can't say that this feat was an easy one. No, most definitely not. Like nothing in this world comes easy, as you all know for sure. And with nothing short of an amazing job from our amazing staff here at Teltonika, we've had an 86% growth in our revenue from 43 million to 80 million. And that translated into our entire team growing tremendously, as well as a whopping 100% in employee growth. And this year we're planning and on track to doing the same by doubling our employee count again to 6,000 by the end of the year. So now moving on to the center of our topic for the webinars here, our compact and powerful device number one, the bestseller. I present the RUT240. So this is our best-selling product in our portfolio. This flies off of our production lines the most, and the design is made to be very versatile with its compact design, but don't be fooled because it does not lack in any way on the performance side due to its size. And finally, it's extremely reliable and easy to use. And let's dive in a little bit into the specifications of the RUT240. So this is a 4G LTE Cat4 cellular router with 1 SIM card slot with speeds that go up to 150 megabytes per second. And it has a 82.11 single band Wi-Fi, 2 Ethernet LAN ports, WAN failover system, digital input output, multiple VPNs along with the RMS configuration and compatibility. And this router is about 83 by 25 by 74 millimeters in comparison to size, making it small enough to fit into your pocket easier than some cell phones out there. And it even has aluminum housing with an IP30 rating, making it pretty rugged. So that's the specifications of the RUT240 in a nutshell. So the first solution we have here for the RUT240 is the remote controlled irrigation system. So HB Water Technology, one of our partners, has developed an IMC, which stands for an irrigation moisture control box to track changes in weather conditions and activate the irrigation system remotely when needed. So the box monitors moisture in the soil, temperature, water pressure, and flow. And based on the data, the irrigation can be set up to water the plants automatically once all the requirements are met, or be remotely activated with an app or via an internet browser. So as you can see in this topology here, we have the connectivity for this solution that comes from the RUT240 industrial cellular router, which is housed within the IMC box. And the RUT240 is a perfect fit for this scenario as it can withstand extreme environments like heat, cold, and moisture. And the sensor can then relay the data to a monitoring center where the system can be adjusted accordingly and the information analyzed. So this lets you take care of the city greenery without having trained staff on site, which is a big thing. And now we're going to explore the next use case solution here for the RUT240, the plug and play connectivity for EV charging station. So one of our partners, Alinta Charge, employs the RUT240 industrial cellular router for their EV charging station. And the router enables internet access through cellular 4G connectivity without the need for any wired connections. So this allows Alinta Charge to be able to collect data from their charging stations and remotely manage them with their cloud-based management system. So the remote management actually helps to change settings and perform firmware updates and payment system updates without visiting each charging station one by one. And furthermore, it can also enable users to check the availability of charging stations and reserve them in advance. So as you can see in the topology here, another key point is that the RUT240 has a wireless access point functionality required for NFC for the wireless payments. And also it's housed within the EV charger. So client, it doesn't actually impact the aesthetics of the device. You can design it as much as you like, and it's a little box that will just fit right inside of there. So clients can also use the features from the RUT240 to pay using smart wallets, credit cards for their EV charging services, and it can be integrated into an EV charger easily, like I said, with its compact design. And a couple of points here is that the RUT240 is compact, which allows it to be integrated into a smart IoT solution without compromising the aesthetic. Another thing I want to highlight is that the router's compatibility with remote management platform enables 24/7 real-time analytics and surveillance, which provides information if there are any issues with the charging station. And the cellular router offers high scalability with fast and easy installation thanks to its plug and play approach, making it, again, like we said, easy to use. So now let's explore the RUT360, also recognized as the big brother of the RUT240 in our portfolio. So the main upgrade here, aside from the new aluminum housing, is the fact that it is a 4G LTE Cat6 cellular router, and it also has carrier aggregation. However, we've still stuck with the compact design, and it's just slightly larger than its predecessor, the RUT240. It can still fit in your pocket easily. So now moving on to the specifications here for the RUT360. You can see here that it's a Cat6 router that has speeds that go up to 300 Mbps. And it also includes a load balancing feature along with 802.11 single band Wi-Fi connectivity. And it has 2 configurable input-output ports, 2 Ethernet LAN ports, and RMS configuration and compatibility features. So that's a quick rundown of the RUT360 features. So now let's move on to the use case solutions here, and we're going to also explore why this device is a clear upgrade from its predecessor and how it performs. So the first solution we have here is the remote digital billboard management solution. And the main challenge that was presented to Teltonika Networks here was the connectivity issues with digital billboards across a region. And this includes one in urban areas, rural areas, and areas you technically know exist, but are so far away from anything that you can't really be so sure. So these billboards are installed on all of the highways and require the same type of management. Sending the nearest available engineer to a billboard's location is not time efficient. So it's time inefficient, costly, and not exactly the cutting edge solution a digital billboard actually demands. So accessing it remotely is the ideal and most efficient thing to do. But when there's no Wi-Fi and cell reception is unreliable, remote accessing is definitely easier said than done. So let's move on to how we came up with this solution and how the RUT360 was actually implemented into this. So since the billboards are far from everything, their internet connection must be self-sufficient. It has to be stable, reliable, fast, and secure to minimize the potential of things going wrong and making the engineer's job as simple as the digital age always promises. So in other words, the digital billboard needs to have a quality, high performance industrial cellular routers such as our RUT360. Its biggest selling point is, like I mentioned, the 4G LTE Cat6 internet coupled with carrier aggregation. And this ensures a reliable high-speed data transfer between content management system and billboard. So no matter how far they are away from each other, compatibility with RMS and its dedicated VPN protects that transfer via an encrypted data tunnel. So accompanying that is the standard device package of flexibility and durability you can expect from Teltonika Networks connectivity devices, the compact size rugged aluminum housing, the DIN rail mounting options, and resistance to both vibrations and extreme temperatures from the highway and being outside. So whatever the environmental conditions are, the RUT360 will shrug it off and keep your connection running and stable. So since you could see like how the RUT360 was implemented in like, rural or urban areas, we're gonna have that in mind and move on to the next solution here, where it was modernizing cow food. So the challenge we were presented with here was that in older times when a family had only a cow or two, feeding them didn't call for maximum time and feed efficiency. So when a farm has thousands of cows or more, a more intelligent system is needed. So essentially, a particular system needs to be implemented to calculate ingredient ratios, track the amount of food being given to each herd, and provide farmers with this data to ensure that everything is operating smoothly. So achieving this requires weight sensors to communicate with a server that makes these calculations and analyses. The problem is that the way the cows are fed is that a mixer wagon is attached to a tractor that moves from herd to herd and automatically dispenses their food. So the mobile nature of this process means that wired communication between sensor and server is difficult to establish effectively. So a wireless solution is a must here. And this is where the RUT360 comes in. So the solution is simple, but also highly effective. A weight sensor is installed on the mixer wagon attached to the moving tractor, measuring the amount of feed in the mix at any given time. And the sensor is connected via an Ethernet interface to our bestseller, the RUT360 cellular router. The router is placed in a gateway cabinet installed on the mixer wagon. And it then sends the sensor's data to a dedicated cloud server for the analysis. And in addition to this, the router also provides a stable Wi-Fi connection to the mobile devices used by the farmers to oversee and manage the sophisticated system with a dedicated app. So the flexibility of this RUT360 makes it the perfect choice for this IoT solution for two main reasons. First, it's compatible with a wide range of antennas needed to cover the large area of a farm with the carrier aggregation and the two antennas. And secondly, it can be powered by the tractor itself as its voltage actually fits the router's power supply range, which we'll talk about in the next slide here. So how do two of these devices compare? The RUT360 generally has more bandwidth compared to its predecessor, the RUT240. So it has two antennas instead of one. The Cat6 cellular router has 2 times the speed throughput in areas where the connection is bad due to the carrier aggregation feature that it has with both the antennas. And the RUT360 is still the same size as the RUT240, but it's about, I would say, 20 grams heavier, which is barely a difference when you're comparing routers. And then we have voltage, like we said, the supply voltage for the 240 and the 360 are the same. You can have 9 to 30 VDC. So, and also with both the routers, the power supply unit and the antennas come in there. So let's begin with the remote management system, the RMS. So it's a device management and IoT platform which allows you to be in control of your connected solution and consists of 4 main parts, as you can see here. So RMS management gives you full control over your fleet of Teltonika networks routers and gateways, ensuring that their security and availability. And then we have RMS Connect, which allows you to reach and control other smart devices remotely, even without public IP. So we also have RMS API, which helps you take what you need from RMS and implement it into the IoT platform of your choice, making it very customizable. And then finally, we have RMS VPN, which enables users to create private communication channel and connect multiple separated networks for easier and secure access. And that's a quick little rundown of the RMS. Now let's move on to the key benefits here. So over the years, RMS has actually grown to be way more than simply just a remote management system. Although it's difficult to name all the benefits, let's talk about some of them here. So anything that you can do with the RMS doesn't require public IP, which helps to significantly save costs. And the system actually gives you full control of your router, fleet, and everything that's connected to them. And you can actually access third-party devices like PLCs, digital media players, NVRs, or even PCs. And the RMS is designed to adapt to your use case as it is highly customizable. And of course, it's highly secure and designed to save your time and money. So these are some of the main benefits that you'll recognize right off the bat for the RMS. So let's highlight the I want to highlight the functionality of the RMS here with a use case of the remote management of enterprise equipment. So every enterprise facility, regardless of its size, requires IT administration services. In some cases, the solution may be relatively simple. So a company will set up a dedicated IT department in-house, which then overlooks the entire infrastructure. However, this scenario is not always perfect for smaller businesses, and a lot of them choose to outsource these tasks to external organizations. And in other cases, companies have offices spread over different locations, and having separate IT departments doesn't always make sense. And since the COVID-19 outbreak, remote work has become like a necessity and for a lot of companies, and a lot of companies realize that, remote work is much better, no need to spend on office space and things like that. So they're able to continue their business, and the demand for this remote management solution is growing, and organizations are looking for optimal solutions to ensure their business continuity at affordable costs. So in this solution, the RMS Connect functionality enabled access for every computer of each branch network remotely, just as if like somebody was sitting in front of the computer. And it's a very similar way to reach devices to using solutions like TeamViewer, AnyDesk. And however, besides offering the possibility to reach computers through RDP VNC, RMS Connect can also be used to access a variety of other devices within the same network via SSH or HTTPS protocols. So you can find this to be a great asset, as there is no need for IT staff to be present at the office to resolve technical problems. It actually allows for more dynamic resource allocation. So that's a little bit of like what the RMS can do. And that's just the RMS Connect feature that we talked about here. So Teltonika Networks is a rapidly growing technology company, manufacturing professional network connectivity equipment for international markets through long-term experience and research and development of industrial network devices for IoT and M2M communication. So we have developed a wide portfolio of products for the most complex areas of industry, such as industrial automation, energy and utilities, smart city, transportation, enterprise, retail, and more. So that's a little bit of where the areas of our work have been like published, but we have much more use cases coming up. And so since Teltonika Networks continues to grow its presence in North America, I wanted to highlight one of these things for you guys here in North America, is that the devices that I just presented to you all in this webinar, the RUT240 and the RUT360, which are now certified by two major operators, AT&T and Verizon. So these two devices are bestsellers, enabling connectivity in projects worldwide, in no small part due to their proven reliability and ease of use. So this is actually very exciting news, as it presents new opportunities for innovative connectivity solutions in the US and Canada IoT markets, since these particular cellular routers are some of the most popular among our client base for entry-level routers. And you can see what they've done already and what they are capable of doing. And it also provides continuous assurance of the quality of our product lineup, as AT&T and Verizon are the biggest and most recognized providers in this region. So that's a little bit of news about the RUT240 and the 360. So I think that's enough speaking on my part, but I want to hear some of the questions that you all have for my team and I in the Q&A chat. But however, before I go forward with that, I want to go over a few common questions and answers before we start this session. So first, most frequently, the question we receive is the RUT240 and the RUT360 seem pretty similar. How do I differentiate the proper device fit for my solution specifically? So this simply boils down to the bandwidth and the throughput speed required for your solution. The RUT240 has a 150 Mbps throughput as opposed to the RUT360's 300. And if your data sets are much larger and require more stability across the network speed of the transferal, the RUT360 would be the obvious choice for your solution because it is a Cat6 cellular router. And another frequent question we tend to receive is whether this presentation will be available online. The presentation PowerPoint itself won't be posted, but the recording of this entire webinar, along with the questions asked here during the session, along with the answers, will be posted after this is wrapped up. So let's move into some of the Q&A questions that you guys may have here. I'll start reading them. All right, so the first question we have here is the RUT240, how many channels and bands support? All right, let me.
So maybe I can answer that question.
Yeah, go ahead, Upnip.
So the 240 version, the latest version that we have, that supports 8 bands, band 2, 4, 5, 12, 13, 14, 66, and 71.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question here. Does this support the RS485 serial interface?
So these devices do not support RS485. For that, we have another device, which is 955. But that supports RS485 and 232. Plus, we have X11, which has a USB port, and USB to serial can be used for RS232 and 485.
Okay, so the does the RUT240 and 360 have built-in battery? And how are these controllers powered up? And what is the backup in case of power failure?
That's a very good question. It does not have a built-in battery, so we don't have it in any of our routers, but we are coming up with a kind of a power bank, which is called BAD120. And that can be basically combined with all our routers, and it can provide 4 to 6 hours of battery backup in case of power failure. So that is one device that we are launching. We will be launching pretty soon.
Okay, so any other questions that you guys have? I can go over another frequent question we tend to receive, and then I'll have our networking and IoT engineers explain a little bit more of the RMS, so in detail, so that you guys can be familiar with our cloud management software. So another frequent question that we tend to get is, what is carrier aggregation? You know, I said it a number of times in this video, and why is it important? So to put it briefly, carrier aggregation is a feature that to work around congested networks or areas where the connection speed is really struggling. So this feature uses multiple bands to double the speed in these mentioned areas, and it's important based on the whereabouts of your solution. So how is the network coverage out there usually? Is it tough to get high speeds? Then maybe you might want to consider a device that has carrier aggregation to avoid the issues with the connection speeds. So if there are no further questions, I'll hand it over at the moment. I'll hand it over to Shivang and Ramandeep to explain a little bit more of RMS in detail.
Hello, everyone. So we have an RMS. That is basically our cloud platform and used to monitor and reach the devices. So let's say you are using 100 or let's say 1,000 devices at a particular time. You can basically configure those and monitor, control everything at the same time using our cloud platform. So how does that work? So for the first month, we have like a credit-based system for our RMS. For the first month, we have like a free credit for each device. And after first month, you are supposed to buy the credits, and those goes for the monitoring purposes and to reach the device from remote location. We can support like as many devices as you want. RMS provides all the information that you need from monitoring, from reaching the device, configuring, like there's no particular limit to the devices that you can add to the RMS. So you can maybe you can add 1,000, maybe 10,000 devices as per your wish. We have a couple of features that are really good to have as a cloud platform. So we can configure hotspots, we can configure Wi-Fi, dynamic DNS, VPNs. On our RMS, we have like VPNs as well. Looking to add like about 150,000 devices. Yes, I think it should be possible. We also do RMS on premises as well. So if a customer requests to have like on-premise RMS on their own data center, yes, we do that as well. That requires to contact your sales manager, and we can do that. That's possible, yes, and we do that. We have done that in our past with our partners. For RMS, you can, let's say you are having a customer and you don't want to give full control of your system, of your cloud platform to your customer, and you just basically want to give a requested just a few permissions to operate to your customer. That will help you to manage through RMS using users. So we have an option to create multiple users. We have an option to create multiple companies under the same RMS account, and that will help you to manage your customers with the permissions, and the permissions what they can do or what they can control with the devices. So that's a really good feature that we have. We have VPN hub on the RMS that helps you to connect all your routers under a VPN umbrella, so a single VPN umbrella that can connect, they can create a whole virtual private network for all your devices. Doesn't matter which location they are. So that's a really great feature. If you do have more questions, let us know and we can help you with the RMS. For the RMS licensing model, it works with the credit. So credit is basically required when you have to monitor a particular devices. You are not buying credit for anything else. You're buying credit for monitoring the device, and you will require about like one to two credits to monitor single device for 1 month. First month is free for every device. After first month is completed, you are supposed to buy the credits for each devices that you want to monitor. And
Okay.
there's no particular license for that. Yeah. Now I'll hand it over to Tasim, and thank you guys.
Okay, thank you, Shivang, for the really informative part. So if there are any other questions, please put it in the chat now. If not, I'll wrap this up, and we'll have all the answers to these questions written down in the wrap-up session for this webinar. And we will actually put some more FAQs and everything in there to inform you guys about like maybe any existing or underlying questions that you guys may have or you start to wonder about later on. So we'll add that to the recording of the webinar as well. So I think, give it a second for somebody to type it out. No, I don't see anyone typing. So I guess I'll wrap this Q&A session up now. All right, let's, so basically, that's everything that I wanted to share with all of you today. And I thank everyone for joining us on this first like North American webinar for me to reintroduce the RUT240 and the 360 and notify all of you guys about the new AT&T and Verizon certification. So also, I would like that you guys check out our wiki And we have social medias on all these platforms. If you just search up Teltonika on any single one of these social media platforms, you'll find us. So we also have a newsletter from our company website that you guys can subscribe to get the latest news. We always have webinars coming out monthly. And if you subscribe to the newsletters, you'll get the latest updates on everything that's going on. So make sure to subscribe to that one. And then feel free to reach out to us for any other questions or concerns that you guys may have. And thank you everyone for joining this.